Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Holly, and in today's What's for Dinner video, I'm sharing with you 5 flavorful, easy meals that you can make for your family. These are some of our favorites, and I hope that they become some of your favorites as well. So let's get started. And for dinner tonight, I needed something pretty quick and easy. It was just one of those hectic days. So I had this ranch buttermilk chicken packet in my pantry. So this is what I decided to make. And it's super easy, as you can see. Doesn't take much ingredients or anything here. And it just shows you how to make it and everything. So this is going to be done in the oven on a sheet pan. And I decided to use chicken thighs, and I also have 2 packs in case I needed to use both, but I ended up only needing 1, so that was great. So I used just the chicken thighs that were already skinless and boneless to make it a lot faster. So the first thing I do is just take that oil and just put that over the chicken. And I'll take the tongs and just, kind of mix it up a little bit just to make sure that each one gets a little bit of that oil on it. And that's to help get the seasoning to kind of stick to it. And then I just sprinkle the Hidden Valley Ranch buttermilk mix over it. And I try to make sure that each one gets enough of that seasoning on it, so that way it kind of marinates the chicken a little bit. And if you ever have done a marinade like for buttermilk chicken, I've done it before where I've used real buttermilk and let it marinate overnight, and that really helps to make the chicken tender, but to get that seasoning in to the chicken as well. So that's all I'm doing here is just, mixing it up, making sure everything gets seasoned really well. And then I just add the rest of the packet to it and do the same thing. And that is basically it for this. So, you can't get much simpler than this. And like I said, it's chicken, vegetable oil, and this packet. That's pretty much all you need for it. I just took a sheet pan, sprayed it with some nonstick spray, and then I put the chicken onto that, and then I put it in the oven. I believe it was 375 I put mine on until the chicken came out cooked, and that's how quick and easy this recipe was to make, which I don't really call it a recipe, just a very quick weeknight meal. And this is what it looks like plated up. This didn't take long at all, and there was a lot of flavor in that chicken. We just had it with some broccoli, the steamed fresh broccoli, and the Knorr garlic Parmesan rice, which is really good. So that's basically what we had for this night. And like I said, you're looking for something simple and easy to make, this is one definitely to try. And I would use the boneless, skinless thighs for this one. The next one is delicious. This is a buffalo wings. It's the garlic Parmesan sauce in the crock pot, and this is on our rotation, so this is really a good one to try if you haven't tried it. But you need about 3 chicken breasts and the sauce, of course, and then you're going to need about, I think it was 2 cups of milk. You're going to need some grated Parmesan cheese and a block of cream cheese, and you don't really have to soften it or anything. I just cubed it up. And then some pasta, and I'm using the rotini. It called for a different one, which is similar to this one. I can't pronounce it, but this worked out fine. And of course, I did use some garlic powder to season my chicken because that's something I always do. If you've been with me for a while, you know that. So always got to season that chicken. Then I took the sauce, poured that over the chicken, and what you want to do is pour the milk that you have into the bottle and try to shake it up, and then get the rest of that dressing loose and pour that into the crock pot as well. So it gets most of it out, but that's just a tip to try to get the rest of it. And then pour that in, then take your block of cream cheese, the little cubes, just put that on top, Then take your Parmesan cheese, and I believe it called for, I think it was 5 ounces. I'm not exactly sure, but that was, exactly what I needed there. And then I just mixed it up. Just try to get the cubes of the cream cheese in the sauce and everything, so that way it'll melt a little bit easier. And just cover it and cook it until it's done. I'll leave the recipe down below. But then you take the chicken out, shred it, add it back into the pot with the sauce, and then add your cooked pasta into that, stir it up, and you have a meal for the night. This one's really easy. We really love this one. It's a delicious one to try, so I hope that you decide to do that. And I just sprinkled a little bit of parsley on top for garnish, but this is really easy. I mean, really great weeknight meal and delicious. This next one is a stir fry, and I believe this one I got off of Walmart.com. I mentioned it in a grocery haul, so if you have not checked their recipes, you might want to go ahead and do that. And I tend to get a lot of recipes from that site. But you need about a pound of chicken breast just cubed up, about 8 ounces of mushrooms sliced, so I already had those sliced, and a pack of broccoli florets. So steam fresh works great for this. A cup of chicken broth. You're going to need about, I think it was either 1 or 2 teaspoons of the sesame oil, and garlic powder, of course. And didn't call for it, but I always add it. A 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/3 cup of soy sauce, and I'm using the reduced sodium. You need some fresh ginger minced, a tablespoon of brown sugar, and about 3, I think, cloves of garlic minced as well. And this one's going to be another easy, budget-friendly type meal. But just brown your chicken in a pan with about 3 tablespoons of oil, and then just add a little salt and pepper to it. And I do add the garlic powder to this as well. Like I said, I like to have my chicken, whatever I'm cooking, seasoned. So garlic powder is just always there. And I absolutely, feel like it needs to have that seasoning. And then you're just going to cook this until your chicken is completely cooked through. Remove the chicken from the pan, and then you're going to add the sliced mushrooms, and you want to cook these down until they kind of become a little softer. They kind of get cooked through. And once you have that done, add your broccoli florets. I did leave those on the counter for just a little bit to kind of let them defrost just a little, because they were frozen and I didn't want to put them in completely frozen. But add those in. And once your broccoli gets cooked down a little bit, then you're going to remove the broccoli and the mushrooms and just add it to the plate that you had the chicken on. Take your garlic and then the minced ginger, the fresh ginger, add that to your pan, and you want to cook this until everything kind of gets a little fragrant. So mainly, I guess, about 1 minute or so, and you just want to make sure you stir it up really well. You don't want that garlic to burn or anything. Add the chicken stock, then add the flour. Mix it well. You want to, don't have any flour lumps or anything in that. You want that flour to cook in. Then add the soy sauce. And I used a whisk to kind of help it along. And you can kind of see it getting a little thicker. But once you do that, add in your sesame seed oil. So you just need a teaspoon. Then add that brown sugar in. So this is the sauce that you're making for the stir fry. And I just kind of cooked it until that sugar, melted in there and got a little thick. Then I added everything back into the pan and then stirred everything up really well. And you just want to make sure that the chicken and the veggies are all coated with that sauce. And that is basically it for this one. So this is another quick and easy recipe to make during the week. And like I said, this one was off of walmart.com with their recipes. I'll try to link it if I can. If not, it's on walmart.com. But just serve it over a bed of rice, whatever you want. And this was really delicious. So it was a really nice stir fry meal. Very simple, but you know, it had a lot of flavor to it. And this next recipe is also from walmart.com in their recipe section. And I will try to link it if I can. But it's a very simple and easy recipe. It's a 1-pot beef stroganoff. So super easy to make. And you may already have some of these ingredients in your pantry already. So what you will need for this is, you know, a decent sized pan, and I'm using, I think it was 1 to 3 tablespoons of oil, a half of a red onion chopped up, and a pound of beef steak sliced thinly. That's top round, I think I had. You can use any kind of, you know, sirloin steak you want. You'll need some whole milk, some sour cream, some rotini pasta, a can of cream of mushroom soup, and you need 1.5 cups of beef broth. It called for paprika. All I had was smoked, so that's what I'm using, and some salt and pepper to taste. And to a hot pan, you want to add your onions, and you want to cook those down until they're translucent, but you also want to add the steak to it as well, and just, you know, break it up a little bit. Then add the paprika. And since this was smoked, I didn't add too much of it because I wanted to make sure, you know, it didn't take away any flavor, but it was fine. I do add a little bit of garlic powder as usual. And then once this cooks down and that meat browns and the onions are translucent, then I'm going to add the cream of mushroom soup to this. And I just mix it in just a little bit. Add in the milk. Then add the beef broth. And for this, I did add, because it called for 1.5, I believe, cups of beef broth. But I added the whole can instead, because you do need enough liquid to cook the pasta, because you're going to cook that in this one pot. So I also added a little bit more, or I added some water to it as well, because it needed just a little bit more liquid, so that way, like I said, those noodles would cook and not, you know, start sticking. So add your noodles in, your pasta, and then I try to get it soaked into the liquid as much as possible, so I don't want, you know, dry pasta sitting on top too much. I want it to make sure that it did cook. So if you have to, just keep an eye on it, and if you have to add a little bit more liquid to it, then go ahead and do that. You can add a little bit more milk, water, or the beef broth, and I just had that 1 can of beef broth, so I did have to add just a little bit more, you know, like I said, water. But I'm pressing it down into the sauce just so that way it'll cook. First, you want to bring it to a boil and then put it on a simmer, cover it, and then just cook it until it's completely done when those pasta noodles are tender. Next, you will add the sour cream, and you want to just mix this in really, really well until it melts into the noodles and the meat mixture. And that is basically it for this one. And this is what it looks like when it's plated. Really did enjoy this one, and like I said, very simple, easy 1-pot meal. I think that your family would enjoy, especially if they like beef stroganoff. So really delicious meal that you can make, and I'm gonna leave, and we just had it with some green beans, but I will leave the link to the recipe down below if I can. Like I said, this was a Walmart recipe, so I'll see if I can do that. If not, I'll leave the ingredients. This next recipe is General Tso's chicken. We really enjoyed this one. This one was really delicious, really tasty, and very simple to make. But you need about 3 to 4 chicken breasts. You want those cubed up. And you will also need, and you can judge how much chicken you want to put in this, but also a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper, 2 large egg whites, 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup of cornstarch. You'll need a 1/3 cup of soy sauce, 2/3 cup of hoisin sauce, and a 1/3 cup of rice vinegar, a teaspoon of ground ginger, some crushed red pepper flakes, and I'm leaving it out because my grandson's going to be eating this, so I don't want it to be too spicy. But I'll put it on my plate, and my daughter and my husband can put it on their plates. The rice, I'm using the Ben's Original Boil and Bag, super easy to make, and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, and 3 teaspoons of minced garlic. And I might have just a little bit extra in there. But this one, I'm going to show you how quickly and easy it is to put together. So the first thing you will do to a bowl is add the soy sauce, then add the rice vinegar, add the hoisin sauce, then add the brown sugar, the minced garlic, add the ground ginger, and then the cornstarch, which will help to thicken this sauce. But you want to just whisk this and then put this to the side, and we're going to use this for the sauce for the chicken. Now add the egg whites to the chicken, and you want to coat this thoroughly. So just toss it around with a fork, a spoon, and I'm using the tongs to do that. And then you're going to I add more garlic powder to this. So I just like my stuff seasoned. And as you've seen throughout this video, that's just my go-to, garlic powder. And then I'm going to take a gallon Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to add the flour, and then I'm going to add the cornstarch to it. I will also add the salt and pepper. If you don't want to add the salt, because we do watch our salt intake as well, but I'm adding it for this, you don't have to add it. You can just, add something else if you'd like, or just, leave it out. But I'm zipping that up. Make sure it's completely zipped up, otherwise you will have an accident. But shake all of that stuff together, and then I take the chicken that I put into the egg whites and I put it in the bag, and I'm going to do this in batches, but I want to make sure that that chicken gets coated with that mixture. It's kind of like shake and bake, but make sure the oil in your pan is completely hot before you put the chicken in. And I think I used 3 tablespoons of oil maybe, or half a cup. I can't remember exactly. It's in the recipe. I'll leave that link down below. But then I'm just carefully putting those pieces of chicken into the oil. I'm going to brown this until I get the desired brownness I like. Put it on a sheet pan with a tray so I can let that oil drip off. I cleaned my pan. I poured all of that out and just used a paper towel to wipe it out. Now I'm adding the sauce into the pan and get every little drop out. But then I toss that chicken back into the sauce, and I'm going to mix that around. Make sure to coat every piece of chicken with it. If you want extra sauce, you can definitely add more. We actually felt like it was enough for us, even on the rice that we had it with. So it was just enough just to coat the rice. It wasn't overly, saucy or anything, but just the right amount. But definitely, if you like more sauce, go ahead and make, double it. I just didn't have that more hoisin sauce to do it. So this is what it looks like plated. I just served it over some rice and then some green onions on top. And we had it with some steamed fresh broccoli. This was really delicious. Definitely a meal you should try. I think that you and your family would enjoy this one. I hope in this video I was able to give you some meal inspiration and maybe some new meals that you can make for your family, some new recipes that they might enjoy. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That will notify you when I post new videos. I hope everyone has a blessed week, and I thank y'all so much for watching. I absolutely appreciate each and every single one of you. God bless y'all.